It's most unfortunate that this is a government that I had a hand in bringing about. I'm quite disappointed and disgusted by this. And but if the authorities don't take decisive action to end this reintroduction of thuggery into Kaduna politics, well, God help us, because nobody has monopoly of violence.
Malam El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State, speaking to AIT after thugs attacked them in a meeting they held in Kaduna State. The thugs injured many and destroyed property. Every day you hear from APC that El-Rufai, who has left APC and joined SDP and is now part of the coalition ADC, every day you hear from them that El-Rufai does not have any political value. They tell you all sorts of things that will make you believe that El-Rufai does not have any sort of following in Kaduna State or in northern Nigeria. But they can't even allow him to hold a political meeting. What is this? Is this no longer a democracy? And police being involved in this, issuing orders saying that this is an illegal meeting and all that, is completely unnecessary. The policemen involved in this thuggery should be ashamed of themselves. They say they are conducting an investigation, but anyone watching this video will agree that the policemen did nothing to stop the thugs. In fact, you can say that the policemen were among the thugs. It wasn't as if they weren't armed. They were. Just one shot in the air would have dispersed these thugs. But they stood there. How many policemen can you see here? 1 here, 2 here, 3, 4, 5, about 6 of them. They stood there and did nothing while these thugs destroyed property and harmed individuals. Their only crime was attending a political meeting that El-Rufai also attended. So it was a targeted assault and attack by government-sponsored thugs. There's no other way to say this. Now let's see the statement by ADC spokesman Bolaji Abdullahi. He posted this on his verified X handle. He said, when the Kaduna State Police Command issued its press release on the unfortunate disruption of the ADC meeting in Kaduna State, where our party leaders and members were attacked by armed thugs, we expected reassurance that justice would be done and that those responsible for the violence would be held to account. Instead, what we read was a troubling attempt to criminalize legitimate political activity, prejudge individuals, and cast the opposition in the light of lawlessness. First, the police statement rushed to link the ADC to political gangsters, even while stating that it has commenced an extensive investigation into the alleged political violence. This contradiction exposes the statement as more political than professional. Investigations should establish facts before conclusions are drawn. When police act as a judge and jury, it undermines both justice and democracy. Second, the claim by the Kaduna police that our gathering was unauthorized is dangerously presumptuous. In a democracy, the right to assemble peacefully is guaranteed by the Constitution, not a state police command. A police notification is a matter of procedure and often courtesy, not a license to exercise a right that has been granted by the Constitution. To suggest otherwise is to turn citizens' freedoms into privileges at the mercy of the state. Third, the threat that hotels and event centers will be held liable if they host political meetings without police approval is equally ludicrous. It amounts to intimidation of private citizens and businesses, effectively denying opposition parties access to spaces for lawful activity. No democracy thrives where access to public or private venues is determined by the whims of security agencies under any guise. Finally, the blanket suspension of unauthorized gatherings as declared by the Kaduna Police Command in its statement is clear overreach. Security agencies are to protect lawful assemblies, not proscribe them. To arrogate to themselves the power to decide which political meetings may hold is to hand the police veto authority over democracy itself. In this regard, the ADC rejects all attempts by the Kaduna State Police Command to drag our name into acts of violence that we neither organized nor condone. Our party remains committed to peaceful, issue-based politics. We therefore demand that the Kaduna State Police Command immediately revisit its statement, conduct a transparent investigation, and explain why its officers allegedly abandoned their duty when our leaders and members came under attack. Democracy is not a crime. Selective policing is. Still, we in the ADC will not be intimidated into silence. We also call on all citizens to reject the growing acts of violence and intimidation against opposition parties by the ruling APC at all levels. We can't blame only the police and the Kaduna State government in this. What about the thugs that collected peanuts to go and attack their fellow citizens who did nothing to them, to go and destroy property in this Tinubu economy? So you can see how politicians weaponize poverty. If these thugs had good paying jobs, they wouldn't be thugs. They wouldn't collect peanuts from anyone to go and attack fellow citizens. And this is a dangerous precedent they are setting in Kaduna State. After the attack at this event center or hotel, owners of hotels in Kaduna State will not like to host future events of the opposition. Yes, they want to stifle the opposition. They want to make it very hot for them in Kaduna State. They want to practically make it impossible for them to organize and conduct their activities. This is not democracy. If they are truly popular, like they want Nigerians to believe, why not look away? Why not allow the opposition to conduct their affairs in peace? If they are not instigating leadership crisis in opposition parties, they are using thugs to disrupt opposition activities. This is not how it's supposed to work. In a democracy, all operators must operate under the rules. But these people are lawless. They don't follow any rules. This is a sign of things to come in 2027. Nigerians must be ready. They must be more desperate than these people. Anyone that is afraid of the opposition, afraid of the meetings they are holding, it betrays that they are aware that they are not popular, that the people will rise up against them. All the money they say they are earning, all the revenues, all the increased allocations, and all the works they claim to be doing, they can't allow these works to speak for them. They can't allow these works to campaign for them. Rather, they are going after opposition, attacking them, maiming citizens simply for organizing a meeting. How does this work? How can these people be maltreating Nigerians this way? Things that the military didn't do to Nigerians, fellow civilians are doing it to their fellow countrymen. It doesn't make any sense. How can they be preaching democracy, but they don't follow any rules? And it's a shame that the police is involved in this. How can they be this partisan? How can they be taking sides when they are supposed to be professional? How dare the police stand there and thugs were attacking fellow citizens? It doesn't make any sense. And these are the same policemen that will soon retire and be protesting and crying about their pensions and gratuity. We all know what we are doing in this country. Sule Lamido, former governor of Jigawa State, speaking in a stakeholders meeting of the PDP, he spoke in Hausa. He told the audience that no one knows Tinubu's history. No one knows his parents, brothers, relatives, and others, even classmates, that the only history he has is with the FBI and CIA in drug-related crimes. So this is a sign of things to come in northern Nigeria in 2027. The same way most of these politicians campaign for Tinubu, that he built Lagos, he did this, he did that, that is going to revive Nigeria's economy. It's the same way they will now say, this man, no one knows him, he's an alien, that's why he's punishing Nigerians with all the taxes and everything. So the people in government already know what is coming. That's why they are deploying all sorts of tactics, including maiming and attacking people using thugs, like what happened in Kaduna State. So it's important to know that all the people that campaigned for him, the same people will now go back and be telling people, yes, we campaigned for this. Just like Rufai said in that interview, that is a pity that he helped bring this government to power and they are doing this to him. The same way they will go back and tell the people we were wrong in campaigning the other time, telling you that this man will change Nigeria. No, this is his true history. So they will campaign hard. This is no time to deceive people with Muslim ticket or religion. No, many people have seen the light. So they know what is coming. And opposition politicians will go to the grassroots and make sure that everyone will hear the new message that this man has no history. That's why he's punishing Nigerians. So you can understand. Anyone you don't know, you can't trace his ancestry, you can't trace his hometown, you can't trace anything, even classmates. How can you vouch for the person and say he's from here, he's there, he's this? So this is the main campaign that they will use in the North in 2027. What will now remain is the ability of Nigerians to stand their ground and protect their votes. Look at what they were doing in Rivers State during the local government elections. Of course, you've heard APC swept nearly all the local government areas in Rivers State. This election was conducted by Tinubu himself. Yes, he appointed the sole administrator that conducted this election. We are in a democracy, but a military man appointed by Tinubu is conducting local government election. Just a way for him to hijack the grassroots in Rivers State. Well, this is not just his fault. Since Nigerians don't react to anything, they will keep pushing you to the wall. Of course, many Nigerians, when they are pushed to that wall, they will drill a hole and find a way to escape. So in essence, if you don't resist, if you don't tell someone that is punishing you, hey, enough, I can't take it anymore, the person will say, the person is not feeling the pain, let's push more. This is the reality. Thanks for watching.